तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति जय भूरिदा जना. Gospel of Shree Ramakrishna, the next portion of my task and reading that I had already been read the day before yesterday. I think you are all happy and well. Oh, what a state of mind I passed through when I first had that experience. I could not receive the coming and going of day or night. People said I was insane. What else could they say? What else could they say? They made me merry. I was then in a state of God intoxication. At first I felt worried about my wife. When I thought she too would eat and drink and live like me. Here is a good picture of a sadhaka, a prophet, when he was meditated in his first life. When Shree Ramakrishna was practiced meditation in Dakshineshwar, he was changed, such as insane, that mad. And people usually talking about himself that insane. So he was sent to Kamarpukur, and there Chandramani Devi and others arranged his marriage. And it was found after his marriage no change, but he was mostly impressed in God intoxications. It was very charmful. Next, I visited my father-in-law's house. They staged a kirtan. It was a great religious festival, and there was much singing of God's holy name. How and then I would wonder about my future. I would say to the divine, Mother, Mother, I shall take my spiritual experience to be real if the landlords of the country show me respect. They too came of their own accord and talked with me. Thakur fluently said it in his father-in-law's house, that means Sashuralaya in Bengali, सस का मकान पर क्या होता है? Now, a kirtan that a troupe of musicians usually used their drums, flute, kartal, etc. And a person or a woman usually singing. Sri Ramakrishna said about Sri Krishna and Sri Radhika, that is Kirtan, Mathur, Manbhanjan, etc. And there was Nafar Banerjee, the landlord. When the father of Nafar Banerjee was attend their festival, the festival was vigorous, very gorgeous. But Sri Ramakrishna occurred, that landlord is respect me, I would like to recommend everything in my heart is acted by the role of goddess Ma Bhavatarini. It is very, very significant. Usually man can use it and wait for the recommendation of God when he was wished to work a risky work or done any fault, he would like to recommendation of God. But forever it was not held. It is fact. But Sri Ramakrishna was remembered and reminded by the father of Nafar Banerjee, landlord. It was his clarification and it was the great recommendation to go ahead. Oh, what an ecstatic state of it was! Even the slightest suggestion would awaken my spiritual consciousness. I worshipped the beautiful in a girl for 14 years old. I saw that she was the personified of a divine mother. At the end of the worship, I bowed before her and offered a rupee at her feet. One day, I witnessed a Ram Leela performance. I saw the performance to be the actual Sita, Rama, Lakshmana, Hanumana and Vibhishana. Then I worshipped the actors and actress who played those parts. Here is a big picture about the great Sri Ramakrishna, our master, holy master. When he was meditated well, he was usually see the maiden as the part of the goddess Durga, Kali, etc., Ma Bhavatarini. And he was usually worshipped the girls, that is Kumari Puja, the worship of maiden. And it was traditionally come to this age, to the time. Swami Vivekananda and others are usually with the tradition in every part of the world's Sri Ramakrishna centers, Sri Ramakrishna Vivekananda, Vedanta Society and others center of Velur Math, that the worship of maiden, usually it is used by the sadhaka, prophet and meditator, but to encourage his energy. We know the all kinds of energy, the division of force to win the war. For everything in our mythological story, we see that Sri Durga, Ma Durga, Goddess Durga, as we called, they are always in vogue to help the meditator. And it was also in the corporal body of a maiden. So Kumari Puja is very vital and very important, and it was recommended by in his own hand of Shree Ramakrishna, and he was worshipped maiden again and again. And when he was offered completely, that is Sastanga Pranam, he would like to offer them a penny. It is very beautiful and today in Belur Math, when Durga Puja was held in Ashtami Tithi, the maiden also got so many gifts, such as golds. And it was traditionally come from Sri Ramakrishna. And Sri Ramakrishna was started with the philosophy of maiden worship. And here is another picture, Sri Ramakrishna's character, that when he was seeing the Krishna Jatra, Ram Jatra, etc., when he was seeing the Ram Jatra, the actor and actress about the character of Vibhishan, Mahavir, Lakshmana, Rama, and actress Sita, others, he was obeyed themselves as the historical and mythological character also. And so he was worshipped, the actor and actress. It was everything, it was held by Sri Ramakrishna in naturally, usually, and perfectly and honorably. Next, at that time I used to invite the maidens here and worship them. I found them to be the embodiment of the Divine Mother herself. Already I discussed it. One day I saw a woman in blue standing near the bokul tree. She was a prostitute, but the instantly the kind led in me the vision of Sita. I forgot the women. I saw that it was Sita herself on her way to meet Rama after her the rescue from Ravana in Ceylon. For a long time I remained in Samadhi, unconscious of the outer world. Very fantastic picture here is. We usually called prostitute as prostitute, but Sri Ramakrishna seen a prostitute as Sita Ma. We know the mythological character. Sita was a pious lady who was again and again given her exam to please king also, Sri Rama, to please the city dweller of Ayodhya and others also. And at least she was die. at least she was go down in hell. That is Patala Pravesh. We know in the story of Ramayana. We know the prostitute character is continued from the historical and the prehistorical stage of our mythology also. Therefore, Sri Ramakrishna was embodied as God. Every patience was his convert to a divinity. She was the mainly a feature of spirituality. So usually he was seen a prostitute as Sitama and gone to the Samadhi Mandir, the temple of Samadhi in Sen. Very fantastic, very fantastic. Another day, I had gone to the Maidan in Calcutta for fresh air. A great crowd had assembled there to watch a balloon of the Ascension. Suddenly I saw an English boy, leaning against a tree. As he stood there, his body was bent in three places. The vision of Krishna came before me in a flash. I went into Samadhi. Another good picture of a prophet. Sri Ramakrishna once went to Gaudin Math in Calcutta, now, on that time Calcutta, to see a big balloon. On that time he was seeing a English lad was standing with leaning a tree with the three crack. And so Sri Ramakrishna was influenced in the sense of Krishna. Sri Krishna, Tribhanga Murari. And went into Samadhi. That means he was seeing Sri Krishna who was leading a tree. That's a very fantastic experience in his life, and it was practically everything held in normally. So we bowed our head again and again to the lotus feet of Tagore. Once in Sihor, I fed the cow-eared boys. I put the sweetmeats into their hands. I saw that these boys were actually the cow-eared boys of Vrindavanam, and the partook of the sweetmeats from their hands. Another fantastic picture. We know the cowboy are usually used about cows from the day to evening. Ensured that the place was very famous for Hriday Lal Mukherjee. In relation, he was the nephew of Sri Ramakrishna. Gadadhar Chatterjee. And Hriday was very important character of the Sri Ramakrishna's divinity, because Hriday Lal Mukherjee, that Hridu in voice of Sri Ramakrishna, took care of Sri Ramakrishna for a long, long time. That's sure. Where Sri Ramakrishna offered the cow ears, sweetmeats, that in Bengali jal pani. Jal pani. Nowadays, tiffin packet. And at last, he was sensed about the cow ears of Vrindavana, such as Madhumangal, such as Sudama, such as Balaram, and others, and so on. And at last, Sri Ramakrishna, in the sense of Vrindavana's cowboy, he was eating from their hands. Very fantastic and fine picture, how a meditator prosper in his life, what is actually ought to do to got the result better. Sri Ramakrishna learned us, respect the prostitute at Sitama, that holy women. There is no question. Every bad woman as Sitama, as Mary, as Sri Radhika, others. We know Shankaracharya said once, the women are the threshold of hell. In modern sense, it was hearing very bad. But those who are meditated, they were so much restricted about women. Sri Ramakrishna also cautions ourselves again and again, be far from the turmeric acid of Tetul. The fever patient and toxication would not be assembled in any corner of the room. Sri Ramakrishna always advised us. Shankaracharya was long ago, on that period, no right of any women to learn the Vedanta. And for his disciples, he was so much restricted and told it. But Sri Ramakrishna of this modern age, he was looking forward one step. And he was so much scientific and liberal, and his every feelings was as natural, supernatural, and so he was told us to follow himself heartily, respect a prostitute as pious lady, and also remember maiden as divine goddess Durga, and also remember cow-ear boys as Krishna and his courtiers. Very fantastic. At that time, I was almost the unconscious of the outer world. Mathur Babu kept me at his Janabazar mansion a few days. While living there, I regarded kept me at his Janbajar mansion a few days. While living there, while living there, I regarded myself as a handmaid of Divine Mother. The ladies of the house did not feel at all of the wistful with me. They felt as free before me as women feel before a small boy or girl. I used to the escort Mathur's daughter to her husband's chamber with the maid servant of Andi. Very fantastic picture here is. The sense of women as the sense of opponent sex or soul in the corporeal body of Guru Shree Ramakrishna. To clarify it, Mathuranath Vishwas, the first donor, all kinds of Shree Ramakrishna, took him to his mansion. And he was spellbound to stay and live with the inside of mansion with the young ladies of house. And there is the Shree Ramakrishna's feelings was like a boy, like a girl that was a charmed, and it was felt by the every women of Rani Rashmani, in honor of Rani Rashmani. And it was a charm that Andy, the one of the maid servant of Mathuranath Vishwas, who was usually taken help of Sri Ramakrishna to impress a young women of the mansion when he was in order kept in a room of son-in-law. It was a sense of sexual sense. Therefore, Sri Ramakrishna was usually used to do it as a worker. It was terrific, and it was very, very majestic, and it was very, very painful. Therefore, Sri Ramakrishna did it carefully, and it was done successfully. And so he was called prophet. So he was passed the exam of Mathuranath Vishwas. Even now, the slightest thing of the awareness of God consciousness in me, Rakhal used to repeat the name of God half aloud. At such times, I could not control myself. It would rouse my spiritual consciousness and overwhelm me. Here is scenes Rakhal Swami Brahmananda in order, the first president of Sri Ramakrishna Vivekananda Ism, who was usually trembling his lips when he was in Japa. And by seeing this picture, Sri Ramakrishna gone to the Samadhi temple It was terrific and it was very, very majestic. In order, Rakhal Maharaj is disciple of Shree Ramakrishna. But the stage of a meditator, the stage of a prophet, the stage of a good-looking young man, Rakhal, who was usually used Jopo, Shree Ramakrishna not clarify that it was held of his downline, but he was easy to move the heaven and so transfer himself, the all consciousness, God into the God consciousness and went to the Samadhi temple. Very fantastic. Sri Ramakrishna went to the describing the different of experience he had had while worshipping the Divine Mother and her handmaid. He said, once I intimated a professional woman singer for a man singer. He said, my acting was quite correct and asked me where I had learnt it. The master repeated his imitation for the devotees and they burst into laughter. There is another picture describing different the experience had while the worshipping of Divine Mother as her handmaid. We know in past a few men are acted as the actress when need in every drama or in kirtan, etc. But Sri Ramakrishna usually showed as women when he was acting well, when he was started the meditation of Mathur Bhav, he was always wear Banarasi and he was usually used long hair and he was taken makeup. And so he was practiced well about a woman, how he is laughing, how he is acting, how he is standing, how he is wear sari, loin cloth, etc. And Sri Ramakrishna here a picture. He is advised to do the real actor who is acting about a actress, and the actor recommended Sri Ramakrishna, our Thakur, that he is 100% correct. It is an fantastic and majestic picture indeed. He said, my acting was quite correct and asked where I had learnt it. The master repeated his imitation for the devotees and they burst into laughter. And when everybody note that Sri Ramakrishna is a masterpiece of copy the women's behavior, the listeners all are outburst in joy and there is burst into laughter. Very fantastic. It is time to close the reading. I will come to you next time when time will be. Good night. Everybody will be happy. Om Niranjanam Nityam Anantarupam Bhaktanukampadhrita Vigraham Vai Ishavataram Parameshamiddham Tam Ramakrishnam Shirasa Namam. Jai Bhakta Bhagavan Bhagavat. Jai Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Thanks all.